to the second region in the Mediterranean area, and it is going to be Egypt. And Egypt is one of 4 areas in the Mediterranean region that we study in this early Mediterranean art, which makes up 15% of the AP exam. The Egyptian art has 9 pieces associated with it. And today we're going to look at piece number 13, which is the palette of King Narmer. My son put together this slide, which maybe you want to pause on for a minute. It's got some funnies in it. But the palette of King Narmer, the form of this piece is that it is this 2 feet tall piece of rock that has been carved on both sides, low relief, so not very deep, and it is divided into registers that tell a story of a king, King Narmer, and it is made in hierarchical scale. So 2 feet tall, gray wacky, so really, really heavy. The function of this piece is kind of twofold. Just right out of the gates, it is designed to be a palette that you would grind rock on or a substance on to make eyeliner. So it's like a makeup device. And the people in this region had been wearing eyeliner since 10,000 BCE. They make it out of a whole bunch of different items. So malachite paste is what's shown here. It's a green rock mineral, and we see it here on this guy, who is one of our pieces actually. But you can see it's lining his eyes, and it's green. There is also, most of these pieces have black, and it is coal, like charcoal, that is being stibnite is the name of that technically, if you, for your chemists out there. It is not very inexpensive. So really the wealthy could do this. They would grind these products up, the coal in particular, and then they would store it in some sort of container because it was expensive. It wasn't super common for, everybody. The purpose, why do they use eyeliners? Egypt is an area that would have been exposed to a lot of sun. And so we think that maybe there was protection from the sun going on here. If you have been to the Middle East, I know as a kid living in Turkey, my parents and I bought lots of evil eyes. And there is also this belief that maybe there was eye disease. Well, there is eye diseases that can be caught from microbes in the water, in the Nile River in particular. And so maybe this was a preventive for that. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to another function here. The function for the palette of King Narmer, since it's so big, right? This is probably not used on a daily basis by somebody to grind for their eye makeup. And so the thought is it was discovered in a temple at Hierapolis. And Hierapolis is Hierakonpolis is a site of a temple to the gods, and there were these other items. So here's another palette, and here were some. This is just one of many paintings that were on a wall, and then there were these little statuettes found in this temple. So it's believed that the function of the palette of King Narmer was that it was an offering to the gods, in addition to being a tool for makeup. So the context for this is that if you are into Egyptian history or mythology, then you know that there are anywhere between like 1,500 to 2,000 gods mentioned in Egyptian history. And so this pantheon of gods had to be attended to in order to ensure life after death. And it was up to the pharaoh. So in this case, King Narmer. They were called kings before they were called pharaohs. So technically he is King Narmer. The pharaohs came later. Uh, King Narmer's job was to appease the gods and would have given something like this palette of King Narmer to a temple to be used on an occasional basis to adorn maybe the god statues at the temple. And then another context piece is that King Narmer is super famous in Egyptian history for the notable event of uniting both Lower and Upper Egypt together. And they would be united for thousands of years. Therefore, 3,000 years. And since he is responsible for uniting Upper Egypt, which is at the, you know that the Nile River flows from south to north. And so this is considered upper and this is considered lower, where the Nile Delta empties into the Mediterranean Sea. So for context, we just want to know that King Narmer is responsible for uniting these two regions into Egypt, and then he would have started the first dynasty of Egypt. So those are our context, our function, and our form pieces. I'm going to cover in class the content pieces because it's best done when you have colored pencils and the paper in front of you and that we go through the registers of this together.